Hello everybody, Mr. Reed here, and welcome to hopefully a brand new series I've decided to do for my channel. But before I actually say anything, I just want to say something real quick.
Bruh. Yeah. Please subscribe, guys. This is embarrassing.
So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to cut right to the chase right here. As you can see, I'm here in my campus apartment. I have been living alone for the past over a year. So I've been doing my videos here, and also I've been watching a lot of movies lately. Yeah, almost every night actually. Of course, I gotta make time for work and my homework and my mental stability. But yeah, every night I've been watching movies. And last year I decided to memorize every movie that I've seen and put it all on a series of notebook paper. Any movie you could think of that has ever been on Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, or Prime Video as of August 10th, 2020, chances are it's on here. I'll look at that later. Anyways, I thought I'd try and do a new thing with this with my YouTube channel. I decided to pick a movie or two from my movie list, and I'll share my any experiences I have with that movie. And some of that would probably have to include when my explaining the entire movie all together, right down to the very last detail, spoilers and all. So you're gonna see me a lot more talkative than what I did in my Let's Plays. So yeah, there are a few guidelines for what movies are on my list and what's not. So I'm gonna read them with you real quick. So first off, don't expect a lot of horror movies. I'm too big of a coward for those kinds of movies. So yeah, I don't watch many of those, but there are a few on in there. You'll know when you see them. Also, I also try to prioritize movies that I haven't seen before. Also, with that in mind, don't expect a whole lot of Disney movies to appear on the list, mostly because I've been raised by Disney movies. My family basically lives and dies by those movies, so a lot of Disney movies I've already seen growing up, so they're not on the list. The Disney movies that are on the list are movies that I haven't seen before, movies I haven't seen in a few years, some that I've only seen parts of growing up, and the rest are just for the hell of it. Also, speaking of which, also no TV exclusive movies, so none of that from Disney Channel or Hallmark or Lifetime or anything like that. I'm talking real big time blockbusters, you know, movies that have actually been in a theater at some point. I also like to prioritize movies that leaving the streaming services at the end of each month, because I often get worried that I might never get the chance again, but sure enough I usually do. So it's all through paranoid or something. Yeah. Also, here's a fun little thing. I intend to sprinkle my videos here and there with little text through, like, in the bottom here. These are gonna be like fun little bits of trivia about the movies, the reality, or my personal life. Here's an example right here. So yeah, let's get it going. Well, since this is the first episode of my series, first impressions are always good. So the movie I'm going to talk about first has to be something that everybody will recognize, and one that's actually pretty recent, so that people will put it in. And so the first movie I'm going to be talking about is the Disney animated film that came out a couple months ago, Encanto. So yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff about this movie before I saw it on Disney Plus last week, and I don't know. I thought it was pretty good, but it was but a lot of people I mean, this movie is everywhere. You know, I see this stuff about this movie all the time on Instagram and all that. So, yeah, it's getting kind of annoying. So, let's see how this movie goes. So the movie starts off with a little bit of a prologue where this old lady named Abuela tells the little girl, the movie's protagonist, whose name is Mirabel, who about the history of the family and Encanto. Well, so simple. Abuela falls in love with this one guy. They have triplets, and then something happens which drives the town away from their homes. And while they're running, they're confronted by whoever those guys were. They never really explained it. So, and she lost his husband and all that, but then all of a sudden the candle she was holding, a miracle somehow happened around that candle, and it kind of like gave there's like magic sparkles everywhere, and around the candle there's just this big ass house that kind of just built around. There was also a bunch of mountains to keep the bad guys like that away. And so yeah, eventually when the kids got old enough and they were given their own rooms, their doors to the rooms got all sparkly, and apparently they got a gift from that miracle, or as I like to call them, superpowers. And so of course those kids had children, and well, this brings us to present day, or maybe it was before that. I don't know. The time period of that movie is all wonky. And so yeah, start off with this cute little song sung by a now fully grown Mirabel. I forgot to mention. They explained it during the song that they did. Apparently, the house is alive. The floor tiles and ceilings and all of the furniture and all that apparently move on their own. Not like Beauty and the Beast where they all have faces and all that. They just everything in the house just straight up moves, which is kind of weird. And so yeah, now that I'm on the topic of the song, I think I'd like to take a minute to praise this movie's soundtrack. The music for this movie is all really cool. A majority of the songs have been composed by the Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is known for playing Hamilton in Hamilton. And my sister's boyfriend really liked that movie when it was a thing. So anyway, Mirabel's song basically introduces so Mirabel basically sings the song to kind of like introduce us to the family, to the Madrigal family, which most of them have like really have superpowers, and they do help out the community of Encanto with odds and ends stuff around there. And so yeah, each of them get introduced. Of course, there's Abuela, who is kind of like the leader of the Madrigals. Her power is kind of holding a candle. What? And then you get to her kids. There's Peppa, who can control the weather with her emotions. There's Mirabel's mom, Julieta, who can make food that can apparently has healing properties that can cure the sick and heal the wounded and all that. And then there's Bruno, and apparently they don't talk about Bruno. Yeah, apparently he could have visions of the future, and then one day he just disappeared. And so you get to Mirabel's siblings and cousins. Of course, there's her two sisters, Luisa, who has super strength, and Isabella, who can control flowers. And Isabella's basically dating this one guy. So yeah, they could get married soon, carry on the miracle or whatever. And then there's her cousins. There's Dolores, who can hear stuff like a mile away. There's Camilo, my favorite, who can shapeshift, and Antonio, he's the little guy. Apparently he gets his powers pretty soon. So yeah. And later on in the song, unfortunately, Mirabelle is the only one of that whole family without a gift. And so yeah, it's a little bit of, kind of makes her outcast, but she's still accepted by a bunch of her by her family, which I find it kind of wholesome. And so anyway, we fast forward to when Antonio gets his powers. There's this big ceremony and all that. Mirabelle's walking with Antonio because he's got stage fright. And so when she touches the door, and well, basically his power was to communicate with animals, which I find pretty cool. He's like a Disney princess without all the singing. Yeah, that's cool. There's like a big party in his bedroom, which is just this huge jungle tree where like him and all his animals can vibe. And there's another cool song by Mirabelle after that. It's like an action shot. It was like a shot as the photo was going off, everything's like in slow motion, and then she's just like singing about how she doesn't have a gift and all that. It's pretty cool. It reminds me of Quicksilver and whatnot. But then all of a sudden, she starts seeing things like the candle, the miracle candle that still light up for some reason. Apparently, there's like cracks all around the building, and it kind of like freaks her out. It makes a big deal out of it. It's like, everybody, the house is tearing apart. And then she goes out and nothing's happening, and then they're all looking at her like, what the fuck is she doing? And so yeah, things go out like normal, but she's still kind of like shook and everything. So fast forward to next morning, she starts asking people around about what just happened. According to Dolores, the super hearing one, it says something about Luisa getting stressed or whatever. And so then they're at the dinner eating breakfast, and she's trying to tell Abuela that there's something wrong with the magic, and I don't know, something bad's gonna happen. And then Abuela's like, no, nothing's gonna happen. Everything's gonna be all right. Just keep your mouth shut and don't try and bother us. This is a big day. This is when Isabel's boyfriend is supposed to propose to her. So that's good. That's going to be really cool. And I really hope you don't screw it up, because we have a big reputation to maintain or whatever. And so yeah, Mirabelle's talking with Luisa, the super strength one. She has she's got a little song about how she handles all the pressure of the community. It's kind of fitting. The song she has is called Surface Pressure. I like it. It's pretty cool. It's got a nice beat to it. It's got donkeys that are dancing. That was kind of funny. And so yeah, there was one moment after the song where she mentioned how, like, during something happened, she kind of just like didn't feel very strong, and so Mirabelle tries to investigate the matter or whatever, and well, yeah, she's left with the illusion that maybe Bruno saw it coming. Maybe she goes up to Bruno's room, or what's supposed to be Bruno's room. It's really weird. It's like this ancient sand temple. It's like, you know how you got the hourglass with like the falling sand? Apparently that has something to do with it. And while she was in there, she found these weird crystals. She found these weird green crystals, puts them together, and she sees the candle in the house kind of breaking apart, and then its center is her. Mirabelle's in the picture, and she's like, what the And she gathers all the pieces and leaves. And as it turns out, Luisa has lost her super strength, and they all made a big deal about it. And then Abuela's there, and she's like, "What did you do?" You know, of course she feels bad. I don't know, something about Bruno, and they have a nice little. This part's cool. A bunch of the family members, you got Peppa, her husband Felix, Dolores, and Camilo. They have like this nice little song together, going like, "We don't talk about Bruno. No. It's pretty cool. This song gives "Let It Go" a run for its money. It's pretty cool. Basically, the song is just about how much of a creepy, unsettling, and mischievous and misunderstood dude he is. And so yeah, there's like this. She's uncovering this big conspiracy by putting the magic pieces together, saying that the magic's dying, and it's just like and then her dad shows up, and she's like, all right, we're gonna have to put a pin on this for today because, well, Isabel's boyfriend is here, and he's gonna propose and all that, so nobody has to know about it. And then Dolores is in the other side of the building, and she's like. And so yeah, then they fast forward to the dinner with Isabel's boyfriend. I forget his name. And Dolores is there. She's and like one by one, they each figure out what's going on. Basically, Dolores tells Camilo, and basically all that. And one thing led to another. The chaos happens. Some of Antonio's animals put together the crystal pieces, and well, kind of a bunch of screwy stuff happens. Abuela gets pissed and Mirabel gets sad. And then, I don't know, sometime after that, maybe it was before, I don't know, I was a little unfamiliar with I don't seem to remember the thing of this movie. There's like a flashback with like little Maribel about to get her gift, and when she touches the door, which is supposed to be a room, the door just straight up vanishes, and then Abuela's just looking at it all like, oh shit, she's gonna destroy us all, that kind of thing. And then there's this bit where Maribel finds a hole behind a painting. She goes into the hole and basically sees, guess what, Bruno. She chases him after a little while, and well, eventually they met up, made some loose ends meet, and well, I guess he explained it. As to when Bruno came back, well, he never left. He was just kind of just chilling in the walls in the house, accompanied by rats. No man should have to live like that. And so yeah, he kind of like broke the I don't know, crystal picture or whatever, because he was afraid that it would come true, and he was trying to protect the family. And so yeah, Mirabel's got to make things right, restore the magic, and bring the family back together. And well, he has basically Bruno gets another vision of the future. Apparently, one of the ways we can restore the magic or whatever is that the only way to restore the magic is for Maribel to apologize to Isabella. And so during all the chaos, she goes up to Isabella's room, and well, of course she's pissed because the love of her life was just taken from her and all that, I guess. And then she's telling Maribel, like, go apologize to me and get out of here. And then she's like, all right, fine. I'm sorry that your life had to be so perfect. And then she's like, what the are you talking about? I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to get married to that guy. I'm doing it for the family. And then a cactus pops up in a room full of flowers. And then we're like, what? And then there's this nice little song with Isabella and Mirabelle. They have a nice moment, something about Isabella's character development and basically her growing of her powers. Learns a very valuable lesson with it. Nothing's perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. And so she gets a new outfit. That's actually pretty cool. And she starts growing all kinds of different stuff like cactus, wildflowers, weird plants I've never seen before, and all different kinds of plants you can see in deserts and stuff, like this one right here. And so yeah, they make up and they hug it out and all that, and the candle gets brighter, and then Abuela's there. She's like, what? She's like, Mirabelle, what the fuck are you doing? You're screwing up the miracle. And then Mirabelle's like, no, you're screwing up the miracle. I'm never gonna be good enough for you, am I? And then they argue for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, poof, the house starts falling apart and all that. House is nothing more than a pile of rubble, and then everyone's just standing around. Mirabelle walks off, follows a butterfly, because that's what Bruno's vision said. And she meets Abuela, and they have we get a flashback of Abuela about how she met the love of her life, how they got married, and how they were driven out of their homes by those unnamed people on horseback. And then one thing led to another. The husband's dead. The candle's there. It starts glowing, starts exploding, and the house happens, and the mountain is forming, and so yeah, they make up. Bruno comes back. Bruno's there, and he's like, "Hey guys, so sorry about earlier. I've tried to make amends or whatever." And then now they don't have powers, so they have to rebuild the house, which is cool. They had the whole town pitch in to help out. That's kind of wholesome. And then when Mirabelle puts the doorknob on the front door, the whole house starts glowing and it becomes alive again. Everybody gets their powers. Everything's all hunky-dory. Yeah, everything's cool now. So yeah. So that was Encanto. I gotta admit, that was a really fun experience for me. I had a lot of that Disney charm in it, and the soundtrack was good, the character designs, the animations. Yeah, I give this movie 4 stars. Alright, so that does it for episode 1 of Mr. E Talks Movies. So, if you guys want me to talk about any other movies, let me know in the description down below, and make sure you subscribe and all that. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Hopefully this goes a little bit better in the future, but yeah, I'll see you next time.